Some stories begin with a death. This one begins with a woman who did not stay dead.
3 days in the river, child. Nothing living comes out of 3 days in that river.
Then what did you pull out?
Something wearing her bones.
What if Arya Stark never became no one, and instead turned back from the sea to find her dead mother waiting in the Riverlands? Let's dive in. The wind comes off the bay at Saltpans in cold, salt-heavy gusts. Arya stands on the wooden pier with the iron coin burning cold against her palm. The Titan's daughter rocks in her berth, sails furled. A Braavosi galley bound home across the narrow sea, and she is the only ship that will take a lone girl with no name and no kin. The captain stands at the rail, watching her, and he has already refused her once.
You again, little cat. I have answered you once already, and my answer does not improve with asking. Eastwatch is ice and black, brothers, and nothing that pays. Braavos is home. Braavos is where I sail.
I can pay. I can work the deck. I don't eat much. I've mucked stables and gutted fish, and I can haul a rope as well as any boy your size.
Oh, I'm sure you can. You have the look of one who has done worse than rope hauling, and done it hungry. But you are not a sailor's trouble, child. You are a shore's trouble. Show me that coin.
Here.
And the words?
Valar Morgulis.
Valar Dohaeris. The coin is real. The words are real. And the man who gave you both has a place waiting for you across the narrow sea. A kind place. A place where no one will ever hurt you again. That is all I will say of it. Decide, girl. The tide will not wait, and neither will I.
A kind place?
A kind place.
I've heard of kind places. I haven't seen any.
You've come all the way to this pier.
I came because I was told it was a way out. I didn't say I'd take it.
You are 10 and 1 if you are a day. The men who killed your people are still laughing over their cups. There is no war you can win, child. There is only a war that will eat you slower or faster, depending on which road you walk.
Then I'll pick the slower one.
That is not wisdom. That is pride.
It's both. It's mine. Cast off, Captain. Tell the man who gave me the coin that I kept it, but I didn't need it. Tell him a girl got off the pier.
Gods be with you then. You will need more of them than are listening.
She closes her small, pale fingers over the coin and pushes it deep into her jerkin. And she turns her back on the Titan's daughter, and she walks off the pier and up through the burnt-out bones of Saltpans without looking back. The ship slides away into the grey morning water, and everything that happens after grows out of that one stubborn refusal. For 3 days, she moves alone, sleeping under hedges, drinking from ditches, never lighting a fire. On the 4th night, she feels the wolves before she sees them. She stands very still on the road with her hand loose on Needle's hilt, and the first grey shape slides out of the trees like smoke given teeth, and behind it another, and then she cannot count. The biggest of them, grey-black and lean as hunger, pads forward until Arya can see the old scars along its muzzle, shoulders that come up to her chest, yellow eyes that know her.
Nymeria. Gods. Nymeria, it's me. It's only me. You know me.
The she-wolf does not answer, because she is a wolf. But she leans her huge head forward and presses her nose against the girl's thin hand and breathes out hot and slow. And Arya falls to her knees in the wet road and puts both arms around the animal's neck and does not cry, because she has forgotten how, but she shakes for a long time.
I left you. I didn't mean to. They were going to beat you, and I threw rocks at you to make you run. And you ran, and I thought you were dead. I thought everyone was dead. Everyone is dead, but not you. Not you. Oh, you beautiful, great, terrible thing. Not you.
The pack gathers in a loose ring around them, and no wolf there will ever again be afraid of a Stark girl who smells of iron and grief. They kill a deer and let her have the liver. In the morning, Nymeria is gone back into the trees, but the thread between them is stretched thin and warm, and Arya can see the road behind her through 2 pairs of eyes. She walks north into the country of the broken peace. She comes to the Crossroads Inn on a grey afternoon, with the drizzle coming sideways off the Trident. The stable yard is full of orphaned children with sharp little faces and sharper little knives. A tall blacksmith works the forge, hammering a horseshoe flat with blows that ring across the trees. And 2 girls stand in the doorway with crossbows they are too small to steady. Arya stops at the gate. The blacksmith looks up. His face goes through 4 expressions in one long breath, and the horseshoe falls out of his hand into the mud.
7 hells.
Hello, stupid.
You're dead.
I'm wet. There's a difference.
The Hound had you. Everyone said the Hound had you. They said you were dragged off into the war and nobody ever saw you after. There were songs, Arya. Do you know how many stupid songs I had to listen to about Arya underfoot getting her guts strung out on a Lannister spear?
I left him under a tree. I didn't kill him. I didn't save him either. Don't ask me about him.
I won't. Come inside. Gods, come inside. The girls on the door can put their bloody crossbows down. It's her. It's actually her. She's Arya Stark. She's Lord Eddard's youngest, the one they said died on the King's Road. The one Lord Beric wanted to ransom to her family before the world went sideways. She's her. I vouch. Now, inside.
Your little archers have steady hands. I like them.
You would. Come on.
He drags her through the yard by the wrist as though she might vanish if he lets go, and the orphans scatter and stare. Inside, the inn smells of onions and peat smoke and wet wool. Gendry sits her down on a bench by the fire and stands over her with his big arms folded like he is trying to decide whether to shake her or feed her.
You can't be here. You can't be seen here. Do you understand me? There are frays on every road between here and River Run. And half of the singers in the Riverlands have a price on your head for not being dead yet, and the other half have a price on your head for being dead and not proving it. You are the least safe thing in the 7 kingdoms to be. Why are you not on a ship to somewhere no one has ever heard of?
I was. I got off the pier.
You got off the pier.
I got off the pier.
Gods love a Stark, because no one else can afford to. Who's looking for you then?
Everyone who has ever lost anything in this war. I thought you'd be pleased to see me.
I am pleased to see you. I'm also going to lock you in the cellar if you make me.
Try it.
Don't tempt me. I've gotten big since you saw me last. I could fit you in a flour sack and bar the door and feel righteous about it for 3 days.
You always were stupid in the good way. That helps you today. Don't get stupid in the bad way too.
What does that mean?
It means don't decide what to do with me before you ask me what I want.
Fine. What do you want?
I want to find what's left of my family. I want to know who took Winterfell. I want the names of every man who sat at that table at the Twins and laughed while my mother was bleeding on the floor. And I want a knife at every one of their throats.
That's a long list.
I have a long list. Gendry, I'm not a little girl anymore. I was never a little girl. I stopped being a little girl on the Sept steps, and you know it.
Hi.
Then stop looking at me like I'm about to shatter.
I'm not looking at you like you're about to shatter. I'm looking at you like I'm about to. There's a place you need to come to. 2 days west of here, the Red Priest keeps a camp in a willow grove, what's left of our Brotherhood. Thoros. You remember the name?
From King's Landing. My father used to say he was the drunkest priest in the 7 kingdoms. He set his sword on fire at Tourneys.
That was another life. He's not drunk anymore, most days. He's not much of anything anymore. He'll know what to do with you. Or he'll know what not to do with you, which amounts to the same thing in this country.
What does that mean?
It means the Brotherhood is not what it was. It means Lord Beric is gone. It means the one who leads us now is not a man. It means if I take you to that camp, I don't know what she'll see when she looks at you.
She?
Just come. You'll understand when you see her, and not a breath before. I won't tell it because I don't think I can say it in a way that won't break in my mouth. Thoros will tell it. Thoros has been telling it every night for a year. He's good at it now, the way a man gets good at carrying a stone that keeps getting heavier.
They leave the inn before first light. The road west is a cold, ugly thing, full of crows and burned farmsteads and the ribs of horses in ditches. On the second evening, the pack finds them again, a dozen grey shapes in the trees. And Gendry goes very still.
Arya. Arya. Those are wolves.
They're with me.
Those are wolves, Arya.
And they're with me.
I am going to stop being surprised by you. I have decided. Right now, I am done.
Good. You're slow, but you get there.
How is that even possible? They're wild things. They're the size of bloody ponies. That one there with the scarred muzzle, that's the one the singers call the Queen of the Trident. There are stories about her from here to King's Landing. They say she eats men.
She does eat men. She's rather particular about which ones.
Particular?
Freys taste best, apparently. I don't know how she knows. She just knows.
7 bloody hells.
Walk, Gendry. They're not going to touch you. If they meant to touch you, you'd already be touched.
That is not the comfort you seem to think it is, my lady.
Don't call me that.
I'll call you whatever I like. I spent a year calling you boy when you had the same face under the same dirt. I've earned a little leeway.
Fine, but not in front of them.
In front of who?
You'll see.
The camp is in the hollow of a hill behind a tangle of willows, smaller than she expected. A thin man in faded red robes rises from the nearest fire and comes across the trampled grass. He is nothing like the stories. The stories had a fat priest with a flaming sword. The man in front of her is gray-haired and loose-skinned, robes patched in 3 places, wineskin at his hip. He does not kneel. He does not smile. He looks at her with the eyes of a man who has seen the dead open their mouths and would prefer not to see it again.
So, the blacksmith has brought us a Stark. I had thought we were past the age of wonders. You are certain of her, Gendry?
I rode 3 kingdoms with this girl when she was calling herself Arya Thoros. I'd know her face in a snowstorm at midnight. She's Arya Stark, Lord Eddard's youngest.
Then welcome, child, to what's left of us. We were something better once. Come, sit by the fire. Eat if you can. The stew's poor, but it's hot.
You're the priest.
I was. I'm something else now. I don't know the name of it yet. Come. Sit.
There's someone I'm supposed to see.
Aye, there is. And I'm the one has to get you ready for her because no man living can do it gentle. Sit first, child, please.
I'll stand. I've had enough of gentle for a year.
As you wish. Gendry, leave us a moment. Go check the horses. Walk the watch line. Do anything that keeps you out of earshot for a quarter hour. The girl and me will walk.
Thoros.
Go, lad. She's safe with me. Safer than with most.
He leads her a little way up the slope, out of earshot of the fires, and he stops beside a willow with a split trunk. He sets his hand against the bark. He does not look at her when he speaks.
Your lady mother died at the twins. You know this. They cut her throat at the feast. They threw her body in the green fork. 3 days in the water before we pulled her out. 3 days, child. Nothing living comes out of 3 days in that river.
Why are you telling me this?
Because when we pulled her out, Lord Beric put his mouth to hers.
You're telling me she's alive?
I'm telling you what I didn't have the stomach to stop. I begged him, child. I told him it was too late. I told him she'd been in the river too long. I refused her the kiss myself. My faith taught me that ritual, and my faith told me it was too late for her. Lord Beric did it anyway. Gave her his last fire. And what came up out of that riverbank was not your lady mother. It was something wearing her bones.
What is she?
She's grief that learned how to stand up, rage that wouldn't lie down. Lord Beric died 6 times, child. Every time he came back, there was a little less of him in the man who got up. By the 6th, there was not enough of him left for a song, only a purpose. Your mother had 3 days of cold water to forget. Whatever walks in that hollow at the foot of this slope remembers one thing. The names. She remembers the names.
Then she remembers me.
She remembers you, child. That's what I'm most afraid of.
Afraid?
I've watched her hang 80 men in a year. Boys, some of them. One held a Frey lord's horse while the lord drank wine inside. She hanged that boy from an alder for the sin of the reins in his hand. I pulled the rope. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because if I'd let her reach for him with her own hands, she'd have torn his throat out with her teeth, and I couldn't watch it. That's the trade I make with myself. I pull the rope quick, so she doesn't do it slow. I pray, child, every morning. I ask the Lord of Light if there's anything left of Catelyn Tully in that body. He doesn't answer. He hasn't answered in a year. She'll know you. She'll want you. She'll ask things of you that your father would have cut off his hands to prevent. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Hear me again. She's not your mother. She's what's left when the water is done with a mother.
Take me to her.
Child.
I stood in a crowd in King's Landing and watched my father's head come off his shoulders, priest. I do not need more warning. Take me to her.
Gods forgive me. I...
They take her through the willows to a smaller hollow where a fire burns low in a stone ring, and a figure sits on a fallen log beside it with a grey wool hood pulled down over her face. The hands in her lap are the wrong color, and there are marks on them that look like they were made by fingernails dragged through flesh that has not healed since. Thoros steps back, Gendry steps back, and even the wind seems to step back. Arya stops, 5 paces away.
Mother.
The figure lifts its head, the hood falls back, and the face under it is and is not Catelyn Stark, with skin the color of old milk curdled in a cup, and white brittle hair half gone, and a throat wound that is not closed and never will, and eyes that are red, lit from behind, with something in them that recognizes her daughter, and something else in them that hates. Lady Stoneheart's dead hand lifts from her lap and stretches toward the girl in the dirt, and Arya's knees give out.
Mother, it's me. It's Arya. They said you were dead. They said you were dead at the Twins and they threw you in the river, and I heard it from a boatman outside Saltpans, and I didn't cry, Mother. I didn't cry because I hadn't any crying left in me. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't cry.
The dead woman's other hand comes down, slow, and touches the back of Arya's head, and rests there, and Stoneheart's ruined mouth moves, and the rasp of her voice comes out of her wound like wind through a broken shutter.
Yeah. Yes, it's me. It's me, Mother. I'm here. I got off the pier. I walked back. I didn't take the ship. I had a coin, I had a place to go, and I didn't take it. I came back to you.
North, Men, Walder, Frey.
I know what they did. I know all of it.
Your brother.
I know about Rob.
Your father.
Yes, him first. It was always him first. Mother, I have a list. I say it every night. I say it every night since Harrenhal, and every night since Sandor took me, and every night since Saltpans. I have their names. Do you want to hear them?
Say.
Sir Gregor, Dunson, Raff the Sweetling, Polliver, the Tickler, the Hound, though the Hound is off my list now, I think, Sir Ilyn, Sir Meryn, King Joffrey, Queen Cersei, Walder Frey, Roose Bolton, the Boltons, all of them, but one of them I don't know the name of, the son with the soft voice. That's my list, Mother. I've carried it like a prayer.
Longer. Now.
What?
List. Longer. Now.
Yes, all right. Longer. Who?
Walder. Black. Walder. Lame. Lothar. Ryman.
At the feast.
Fool. Bells. Sang. Rains.
The rains of Castamere. While you were screaming.
Yes.
He's on the list. The fool most of all.
More.
Who else?
Emmon. Amys. Jared. Merritt. Peter.
I'll keep them. Every one. In my head where no one can burn it.
Mine. Yours. Ours.
Ours. Together.
Stoneheart's fingers tighten in her daughter's hair, not gently. For a long time, the only sound is the fire and the scrape of a dead woman's breath moving through a throat that should not hold it. Thoros stands very still, his eyes closed, the way a man closes his eyes when a prayer has gone wrong for the last time. And somewhere in the dark, the she-wolf the size of a pony lifts her head from a kill and understands and howls, and 100 grey throats in the trees pick up the note and carry it from hill to hill until the sound rolls down to the trident and over it. That night in the Brotherhood's camp, they feed her stew that is mostly water, and Thoros finds her a threadbare blanket. and spreads it on the ground for her to sleep under. And the singer, a thin man named Tom, who has been listening to everything and saying very little, tunes his harp in the flicker of the fire.
So, this is the girl. All the songs already have her dead, you know. I'll have to write new ones.
Write them quiet, Tom. Write them careful. She is not a rumor yet. A rumor is what she becomes when we want her to become one, and not a breath before.
A secret in the Riverlands has the lifespan of a mayfly, priest. You know that as well as I do.
Then we make sure the mayfly lives long enough to sting.
Oh ho! The blacksmith has poetry in him tonight.
I have other things in me tonight. Poetry is the one that hurts the least.
You have a tenderness for the girl.
I have a memory, Tom. Those are two different things. I watched Yoren haul her onto a cart heading for the wall when half the realm was hunting her, and I watched her survive Harrenhal when men twice her age and 3 times her weight died in the mud of that place, and I rode with her when she was calling herself Ari and nobody knew better. I have a memory. Leave it at that.
I will leave it at that, but the song will not. You understand, don't you? A Stark girl walks back into the Riverlands with wolves at her heel and a dead mother at her back. That is not a memory. That is a bloody anthem. I could sing that from here to the wall and back again and not run out of verses.
You will not sing it yet.
Not yet, but I'll hum it.
Hum it very quietly. I have heard enough new songs in this country to last me the rest of my second life.
That's a grim way to put it, priest.
I am a grim priest. Go to sleep, Tom. The girl will not thank us for keeping her awake.
Arya lies under a borrowed cloak, with her hand curled around Needle's hilt. She thinks of the dead face in the hollow, and of the way her mother's hand had weight, but no warmth. Somewhere in the dark, Nymeria picks up the thread and holds it for her, and Arya Stark, who refused the sea, sleeps her first sleep as the wolf beside the dead wolf and dreams of teeth. In the morning, the camp stirs slow in the wet grass, and Tom sings a lighter song to keep men from noticing the mood, and Thoros brings Arya a bowl of something hot and sits beside her on a log while she eats. He drinks from his wineskin before he drinks from his cup. His hand is not quite steady when he passes her the cup.
How did you sleep, child?
I don't know. I was a wolf most of the night. You say like you believe me.
I've given up disbelieving things. The Lord of Light put a dead lord back on his feet in front of me 6 times, and the 7th time he put a dead lady back on hers. A girl who dreams with wolves is a small thing after that.
She was my mother.
Aye.
She is not my mother anymore.
She's enough of your mother to know your face. That's more than most of the dead give us. It's also the most dangerous thing about her.
Does she want me with her? With the hanging?
She wants you with her, child. I don't think there's room in her for wanting anything else. What you do with that is for you alone. Lord Beric would have told you to be careful. I'm not Lord Beric. I'm a drunk priest whose god has stopped explaining himself, and I'll tell you the same word 3 times instead of once. Careful, careful, careful. She'll ask things of you in a voice you remember. Don't forget, she isn't the voice.
What if I want to be asked?
Then be asked. But ask me first, will you? Not because I've got the right to stop you. I don't. Because I've pulled 80 ropes in a year, and I know the weight of them, and I'd like to lend you the weight before you carry your own. Will you let me?
I'll let you.
Thank you, child. That's the first kind word anyone's handed me in a long while.
My father is dead, priest. I loved him. I'll love him in the ground. But he wouldn't know the work I'm going to do, and he wouldn't want to. That's fine. It's not for him. It's for me.
That may be.
It is.
Then eat, child. The stew's going cold.
Gendry comes and sits on the log opposite them with his own bowl. He eats for a while in the quiet, and then he looks up.
My brothers.
Aye, I've been waiting for you to ask. Plain?
Plain. I've had enough soft edges.
Winterfell was burned. Theon Greyjoy took it and lost it. And the word on the ravens is your brothers died by his hand. 2 small boys, burned and hung from a gate. I'm sorry, Arya. I've been turning those words in my mouth for 3 days and I can't find a better shape for them.
Gendry, don't.
Wait, I'm not done. A trader came through the Crossroads Inn 6 weeks back, a Manderley man, and he swore the bodies were 2 farmers' boys dipped in tar, not your brothers. I don't put that forward as hope, Arya. I've watched too many broken hearts in this country, and hope is the thing that breaks them. But I'll put it forward as not nothing.
So they might be alive.
They might. Don't fix your heart on it. Please don't.
And Sansa?
One rumor in the Vale, one in King's Landing, one in a grave. Pick which one helps you sleep.
That's 3 piles of nothing.
It is, I'm sorry. We're hungry for news at the inn, and we get it in handfuls of dust.
It's all right. It's more than I had at Saltpans.
The lad runs that crossroads inn now, child. Half the news of the Riverlands passes his forge. He is a better spy master than he is a smith, and he is a very good smith.
I am a very good smith. The other thing I do less well.
You do it well enough. Tell the girl the rest.
The rest?
Riverrun, Winterfell. What's left of your family's holds. None of it's good news, Arya.
Tell me.
Your uncle Edmure is a hostage of the Freys. The Blackfish slipped out and went to ground. Nobody knows where. Riverrun itself was handed to Aemon Frey. He's married to a Lannister, Tywin's sister. So the castle's Frey on paper and Lannister in the bones.
Tell me.
Your uncle Edmure is a hostage of the Freys. The Blackfish slipped out and went to ground. Nobody knows where. Riverrun itself was handed to Aemon Frey. He's married to a Lannister, Tywin's sister. So the castle's Frey on paper and Lannister in the bones.
And Winterfell.
Roose Bolton sits in it, Warden of the North by the Iron Throne's word. His bastard Ramsay has taken the name legitimate.
So it's all gone.
For now.
For now.
That's what I have from the road, Arya. The rest I'll leave to the priests.
Thoros had been sitting quiet through it, with his wineskin on his knee and his eyes on the grass. When Gendry finishes, he doesn't speak. He lifts the skin, he drinks, he lowers it, he lifts it again. When he looks up, his face has gone grey.
Child.
What?
There's one more thing. The lad was going to leave it to me. I was going to leave it to tomorrow. No more leaving.
Then tell me.
They put a girl in Winterfell and told the realm she is Arya Stark. The ravens went out. Bolton's seal. Your name on the parchment. Ramsay Bolton is married to a girl who is wearing your face in front of every lord in the north.
Say that again.
Child.
Say it again, priest. I want to hear every word of it out loud so I know I didn't dream it.
A girl is sitting in your mother's castle wearing your name. She is married to Roose Bolton's bastard. She is called Arya Stark by every raven and every herald and every lord who hears the word. And she is not you.
Who is she?
I don't know. Nor does any man in this camp. Some poor wretch dressed in a wolf.
Some poor wretch?
Aye.
Thoros. What is he doing to her?
Child.
What is he doing to her, priest? Don't soften it.
Ramsay Bolton is his father's son, and worse by every account. I'll not put the details in a child's ear. You can guess. He flays men for sport, hunts girls through the woods with dogs. He has given no reason to think he treats a wife any kinder than a kennel bitch.
A kennel bitch.
Forgive me.
Don't soften that either. It's the right word. Every night she has been a kennel bitch. Every night since he put the ring on her. In my mother's rooms, in my father's castle, wearing my name.
Child, a stolen name is a wound on the world. Mine, yours, every god that was ever listening. There's no forgiveness for it. The name comes back, or the gods are dead.
Arya.
Don't.
Arya, breathe.
I am breathing.
You're not. You've got your hand on needle and your knuckles are white.
Have I killed it yet?
Killed what?
The hilt. Have I crushed it? I can't feel my hand.
Let go. Arya, let go. There, that's it. Put your hand on my arm. There.
Ramsay Bolton.
Ramsay Bolton.
He's on the list.
Child.
He's at the top of the list, priest. Not my father, not Joffrey, not Cersei. Him, because he's the only one who's still using me.
Aye, child.
Gendry.
Aye.
Is my hand bleeding?
A little. You squeezed the crossguard till it cut you. Let me see.
Leave it.
Arya.
Leave it. I want to feel it. I want to keep feeling it until we ride.
We're going to ride, Arya.
When?
When the priest says the ropes are ready, not a day sooner. You hear me? Don't go on your own. Don't slip out in the dark with Nymeria. Swear it.
I won't slip out.
Swear.
I swear on my father's grave. I swear on my brother's. Does that count enough for a blacksmith?
It counts.
Good. Now shut up about my hand.
Not a chance.
She sounds like her mother just now.
She sounds like both of them. Is that what you were going to say, priest?
It was. You took the words out of my mouth, lad. God's help her. God's help us.
That's a terrifying thought.
Aye. For us and for them.
For them mostly.
The lad is starting to speak like me. That is a bad sign for the lad. We should find him a different teacher.
One more thing.
Speak it, child.
Ramsay. When we come for him, I put the rope on him, Not you, me, every knot. I want the weight of it on my hands and nowhere else.
Child, that is a weight you should not carry alone.
I know, but I'm carrying it anyway. That is not the same as alone.
Nay, it is not. I then, it is yours. I swear it by the fire that raised your mother, and may it burn my mouth if I break the word.
And before any of that, the girl, the one they put in my place.
I?
We find her first, before a single phrase swings that wasn't already on the list, before my mother puts one more rope around one more throat. We find out her name, and who delivered her to him, and we get her out of that castle alive, breathing, whole. Do you hear me, priest?
I hear you, child.
Swear that one too.
I swear it.
Good.
That night, after Thoros has gone to his bedroll and Gendry has walked out to the wolves at the tree line, Arya sits by the fire alone. Her eyes are open, her hands are flat on her knees. Something has gone out of her face that was still there yesterday, and something else has settled in its place, quiet and hard and older than she is. She does not cry. She does not sharpen needle. She sits. Tom, watching from a distance, sets down his harp and doesn't pick it up again that night. Far to the south, on the road from Riverrun, a one-handed knight wakes from a dream he cannot remember. He thinks of a woman in a tent on a hill, and an oath he swore to her. He thinks of a tall woman he sent after her daughters, who has not sent word back in half a year. He thinks of a girl in Winterfell who is not the girl whose name is on her, and of the fact that he knew that and did nothing. He does not sleep again. In a hall at the Twins, a very old man pauses over his cup and frowns and does not know why. At the end of the world, in a cold black tower, a young man with grey eyes lifts his head from a letter and feels something move in his chest that he will not have a name for until another raven comes. And in Winterfell, in a bedchamber that once belonged to a Stark girl, the fire has burned down, and the rushes on the floor are sticky with things the serving girls have been afraid to clean. A girl sits on the edge of the bed in a torn, wolf-grey gown with blood dried down the back of it. Her hair has been cut short and dyed brown. Her wrists are bruised. She is rocking. She's not quite crying anymore, because there is not enough of her left for that tonight. But her lips are moving around a single word, over and over. The only word she has left to say to herself in the dark. Arya Stark. Arya Stark. Her name was Jane Poole when she lived in King's Landing, and she does not know that 100 miles south a thin, dark-haired girl is sitting by a fire in a willow grove with that same name on her own lips, and that the two of them, the false wolf and the real one, are about to share a war. That's my view of this alternate timeline. Westeros is a land filled with exciting stories and endless possibilities, and we are here to uncover them with you. If you want to accompany us on this journey across the 7 kingdoms and beyond, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.